Howdy folks, welcome to my channel. This is Gaming Over 50 for those that, like me, who want to start or continue playing PC games as they get older. Younger people are welcome here too, but the only difference you'll find really is us older people are just a little bit slower. On this I'll teach you how to set up and play games. In this case it'll be Project Zomboid, and we will play it and maybe learn some things and teach you what you need to know to survive in it. Later on, after this series ends, we'll start other games and we'll see how it goes. So let's get into it. So this will be what you'll look at when you start the game up. Down here will be where you'll put in mods. Mods are basically just additions to the game to make it a little better, depending on whatever you need. Might be a little easier, could be a little harder. Never know. You'd go to workshop to get them. Then you would need to restart the game to implement them, and then make sure they're loaded in. We'll worry about mods another time if y'all want to see how they're done. Otherwise we won't look at it at all. So you start off. Project Zomboid is really a multiplayer game. You play it on servers. I prefer solo play, just play by myself, maybe with some of my friends every now and then, but otherwise just by myself. So multiplayer is what you would go on to if you want to join somebody else's games. If you decide you want to host your own, then you would go here. And then of course there's options, which has different things you'd set up however you need. Right now we won't go into it. But right off the bat, you'll see doors shaking on hit. That'll help let you know that it's being attacked. Plus you'll hear it too, but in case you pick death, you can see it. For the most part, you won't really do a whole lot here. I've already had played the game before, so, for years now, so that's why that's here. Otherwise this will be blank until you start a new game, and then both will appear. Both of them are the same. You can hit continue or load. Load allows you to pick different times and different saves you have. Continue will just be the last save that you played. It automatically saves as soon as you log out. Otherwise you won't see, and it saves your gameplay as you're playing it, but you don't see it say it's saving, but it does. Tutorial for those that really need it. Otherwise, for the most part, you can learn everything you need to know just by playing the game. So let's try. You go to solo, then these are the challenges like this one. Anyway, you start off, you're in pain, you got groin damage, you're cut up, the house is on fire too. Excuse me. But once you're done with this part and you get out of the house, you heal yourself or you bandage, then that challenge is over. This is just a challenge while you're here, and sometimes you spawn in and there's fire everywhere and you can't get out the door and you just die. And sometimes you can move that table, get it out of the way, and then get outside, and then zombies outside and you die, or you might be able to live. But you can do the same thing for many of these others. Like I play the sandbox setting. For you guys, you may want to start with just Apocalypse straight up. Play that one or two times. First time I ever played, I did one of these two, I can't remember, probably Apocalypse, and I died within the first probably 20 minutes. But that's gonna happen. I like Sandbox. It allows you to change up different things about the game however you want. That's what we'll be doing. That way you can see what you might want to change, because anybody can go in here and just load up the default settings. These are a list of mods that I have. We'll also be playing on build 42 unstable, because it has animals that you can take care of and farm. And then if I have other mods for that, but that it goes with that. I don't build 41 vanilla which is with everything with no mods. To me, it's just kind of boring. So I add different mods. Like here, you'll see ammo loot drop. That's for zombies. They drop the ammo, different types of ammo. Sometimes just rounds, sometimes boxes, sometimes cartons. Then auto cook allows me to, instead of having to manually put in items to cook, it just picks everything it can in the vicinity and adds it to the recipe to cook up. And different things. Skill book courier makes a dude walk around with skill books. It's a zombie. I've only ever found 2, maybe 3 in a whole playthrough, but it's at random. And they just carry different skill books that you'll need. I also have more skill books, which allows you to have skill books for every single skill, versus vanilla, which only has skills for certain things, and that's it. And some of the other ones are like this, more traits. We'll be covering that one, and I'll explain that a little more. And then vehicle mods, different things, just to make the game more, in some ways, easier. Like this automatic stove shut off means that the last thing you cook automatically shuts the stove off instead of burning it. Keep it going and you forget it and burn it. And then things like camel pack, which is a camel pack that you add to your backpack so you can drink out of it. Hydration pack. Disassemble container with items. That means if it has something in it, you can just disassemble it anyway, versus having to empty it out that you would in vanilla. So see, some things are easier, some are better. Like this adds trailers that you can pick up, different types of military trailers and stuff, which could have more room in them. Otherwise, it's just if you want more of a military look. Anyway, large progress indicator, which means as it up here on the top left, as you do things, you'll see, that's a different mod there, but it'll see when you're doing something, your character will have a bar above it, and this makes it a little bit bigger so you can see it a little better. And that's it. So then here's the map of the whole area. This is Knox County, Kentucky. These are the cities. These 2 are added. Those are mods. And it picks it out. It's somewhere right up in here. Quarantine zone. Probably right there. I don't know. Then you pick Muldrow City, Echo Creek. Muldrow and Rosewood are usually the beginning places people start at, because they have the least amount of zombies population versus some of the other ones, and they have good places that you're going to want to loot. Some of the others, like let's say Echo Creek, has a gas station, mechanic shop, and that's kind of it. That's all there really is there besides houses. That's the only thing that you're really going to want to visit there. And then down here, shooting range, and then this industrial area with steel. So you may not want to spawn in there. I like it because that gas station has an upstairs residence. So it has a food mart with it too, a little small little food thing, and a restaurant. So if you take it, you've got equipment as well as some food spawning in there. And then all the houses give you even more loot. And then you just go right into the shooting range, and then usually I start from there, and then I hit Ekron, Irvington maybe, and just go around and clear out all the different towns. Rosewood is my opinion. I like it better just because it has a police station here and a fire station right there, and a gas station up here, a mechanic shop, and there's a grocery store. So it's a pretty good. And then this theater, a drive-in theater, another gas station, and then the prison. So it's a good area to clear out. The prison's really packed up. A lot of zombies there, as well as usually some gear. So it's a good one to go to. Muldrow was the very first one ever zoned in, spawned in, and a lot of people do that one as the default setting. It's got a police station, no fire station, but it does have a little hospital, clinic, gas stations, things like that. And then it's not too far from there. You can go straight up if you want to West Point and then up into Louisville. a lot of times usually just go ahead and pick Echo Creek, like I said, because I can clear these areas before I even decide to go to Louisville, which is in-game. March Ridge, nothing really there. It says military housing, but you'll never really know it. I've never once found a soldier there. It's just housing in grids, and then that's it. Riverside's a good one because you're right next to the water. Police station, store, then that's kind of it. Then you have these other places around it, like this gas station, mechanic shop, country club. And then West Point, it has a police station, gas station. And that's kind of it. There's not a whole lot there. If you're going to go to West Point, why not just spawn into Louisville? But anyway, like I said, that's the map. And you can get other mods that allow you to spawn in these other places wherever you want. But I just haven't worried about it because I don't care to. I can always just go there myself by following the roads. Anyway, so we will take Rosewood. Hit next again. Now you get into the options for your actual gameplay. Starts off always here at time. I recommend changing the time automatically to 5 a.m. So what happens is the first 14 days of playing, there are TV shows that come on 3 times a day, as long as you have power. Power can change however your settings are. It could go off after the second day, or it can go for a month or two, just by default settings. But as long as you have power, the first 14 days you have a TV show. After that, the TV shows go off. And those TV shows give like carpentry, foraging, cooking, and fishing. Yeah, fishing. And they can raise up your skills. You watch 2 carpentry shows and you might get a whole level out of that. Or 2 levels, I should say, because it goes, each book you read covers 2 skill levels. So there are 10 total, but there are 5 different groups. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this puts you in, and the first show starts at 6 a.m. So this is as close as you can get to that 6 a.m. to make sure you make it to that show the very first day you spawn in. And every single time, and then you die in the game. It's going to happen, and it allows you to recreate another character, or you can save that character and recreate and come back in as that same character. But days will have progressed, or time. So if you survive 2 days, in case you create the next character, you're still going to be 2 days in. And, there's no way to change that unless you restart the whole game. But that's all that really matters on this. None of the other stuff matter too much. I find that month-wise, it could be July and be cold sometimes. I've been to December and it's not cold sometimes. So you never really know. That seems to not matter too much in my opinion. Anyway, so that's the main one, and you can change your day length in real time, so it's an hour and 30 minutes to get through a whole day, or you can change it to whatever. I usually don't mess with that. You got zombies, you can do whatever you want, how you want it. I turn off respawns just because I like clearing a town like you would in real life. If you woke up and the zombie apocalypse was going on, there was nobody else around, you would eventually kill them all around your area, and then kill more and more as you go on to make the area safe for you. And then they wouldn't spawn back. You might get other ones that that might migrate in, but that's it. I like to do at least a few sprinters. Other than that, all this is, you can change it however you want. We're not really going to worry about that. And then if you play this with these settings and it works out great for you, maybe you decide you want make it a little harder, you can change all this. But yeah, it goes all down. You can see wherever they see you or they can hear you. Everything you need. And then because I picked no respawns, this automatically changed to 0. And that's why it's yellow. And that's all that. So you can just go down and keep checking whatever. Loot respawns. I don't care for loot to respawn because it wouldn't in real life. So I leave it at that. If you do want loot respawns, if you build something, this right here stops it from appearing any loot respawning in whatever you build. Otherwise, it could respawn too. Food wise, usually this was always on rare, but I guess by default now they changed it to normal. Right now we'll just leave it at that. I prefer to make it a little more rare. Generators are rare. And yeah, but this can change the different type of gear, like farming for seeds, how often seeds might appear, things like that. World, water shut off, electricity shut off. This, like I said, usually in 14 days, automatically set. By the time you finish watching TV shows, these will go off, or you can set it to random. I prefer random. In this case, we're gonna go. We'll go 2 to 6 months. Just because I want to be able to keep you guys playing. But usually I don't. I usually pick 0 to 2, maybe 0 to 6. Generators are hard to find, so once power goes out, that's it. But in real life, power would eventually go out, and if you haven't found a generator, you wouldn't have power. So, fire spread, generator working in the exterior. You can change it to where it works on your interior too. But I prefer, that it doesn't. Life bulb stand. I'm going to go ahead and pick a 0 for us. Just make this easier. But I mean, your light bulbs and lights that you have in your house will burn out and you'll need more. I don't usually collect light bulbs. I try not to, except for maybe a few, and then that's it. So we'll leave it at that. Everything else, we'll leave that same. Here's your basement. Sometimes it spawns in houses, sometimes they don't, but you can change that to whatever. Excuse me. Nature is, like it says, darkness during night, normal, or you can have it to be a little lighter so you can go out at night, or pitch black, you can't see and you have to have a light, and then the light's not going to work very well. Farming speeds, plant resilience from bugs, things like that. That can change however you feel. I usually don't grow a whole lot of crops, so I don't usually worry about it. Meta are things like this helicopter event. What that is as randomly at times, this is only going to happen once, but it's random. You could be out, you could be in your base, whatever, and you'll hear a helicopter. You'll never see it. There is a mod that allows you to see helicopters, but I don't worry about that, and sometimes they'll shoot at you. But otherwise, what it does is the zombies follow the helicopter. And if the helicopter sees you, it'll hover over you. And then zombies will appear. So if it sees you going into your base, it'll sit right there, and zombies, next time you go outside, zombies will be everywhere. So you want to make sure you don't get spotted by the helicopter. And you hear it, it'll sound real light, and then it gets louder as it gets closer, and then it'll start going away, and then it'll come back. So you want to make sure that you're not outside when that happens. I take the blood level and I put it down to low just because it helps on graphics. And then we will change this to 1 just so blood splatter will eventually go away. The rest of this I usually don't bother with. I will allow mini-map because I like having a little mini-map to see. Then character, change whatever. So you start a kit, see, spawn with chips, a water bottle, backpack, baseball bat, and a hammer. That's good if you're first starting off. You may want to do that, but otherwise it'll just keep. If you keep dying in your house, your base, you'll just keep getting more and more of these things as you spawn in to your base and you die. So I usually don't bother with it. It's not too hard to find things, and it makes it more of a challenge. I do weapon multi-hit just because if you ever swung your baseball bat at somebody's head, if there's a couple of people standing together, you can hit them all. So that's real life type stuff. And it does make it just a little bit easier, you know, which, like I said, it's more realistic that you can hit multiple people. And we're going to turn this down just to make it a little bit so we're not just dying right off the bat. Everything else is just however you want to do it. Whatever you feel like you need for your skills. Vehicles, however you want to do it. See, you can change the gas, how everything is. I'm going to take off damage, player damage, and then put that down to low again to make this playthrough of us playing it a little easier. Ideally, I'm just trying to get you guys into playing the game. You could pick defaults on it all and play the game and be just fine. And then as you go on, you know, and you learn things, you can change different stuff. First time I ever played, I just played. I didn't watch any videos. Now, granted, I died right off the bat because I didn't know how to attack anybody. And then I started watching videos on how to play it better. Livestock. If that's what you want to do, you can change this, whatever. I don't need it. More traits. I don't bother changing any of this. This is the mod. Same thing with this ammo drop. I don't change all that. Skill books. I have a kill count, which just keeps tracks of kills. Legendary katana means you can make one, and it's a little better than any the vanilla katana you can find, but it requires you to build it. Melee weapons upgrade allows you to change things like durability and damage, like say on a hammer, or crowbar, whatever. The problem is that I found, unless it updated and finally fixed, once I've upgraded, like say a hammer from level 1 to level 2, so from vanilla to level 2, you can't use it as a weapon anymore. It no longer works. So a crowbar, I made one from level 1 to level 2, then you can't use it as a weapon, and I don't know why. No matter how much you upgrade, that's what it does. It just doesn't use as a weapon anymore. Proximity inventory will show when we're in the game. It allows you to pick up stuff in containers all around you. Skill recovery journal technically is, I guess you could say, a cheat. However, what it does is once you get the materials to build it, to create this journal, it allows you to write down your skills. So let's say, for instance, you watch TV in the very beginning, you got level 1 of carpentry, you can write that carpentry in the skill book, and then if you die, you can come back, find the skill book, read it, and get that level 1 carpentry back. However, if you start off with level 1 carpentry, you gain level 2 from watching, you only get level 1 carpentry when you come back. You get that 1 skill level. So the skills you spawn in with, you can't record, and you don't get those back to the next guy. But in real life, if you were a great welder, you could make videos or write exactly how to weld great in a book, and somebody can read that and be better off learning, how to weld versus somebody who didn't have any sort of instruction and just starts welding. You would have that because you'd have somebody telling you what to do. So in a way, that's like real life. And plus, I don't care. I like to max out my skills. Sometimes I just play and just max them out, and I don't care to have to redo it. Toughness is a mod that I added, and it gives you the ability, once you get up high enough level, it reduces pain, discomfort, like I said, panic, pain, discomfort, all that. It makes it, because if you were out killing zombies all day long, every day, it would bother you a lot less. Now, this one here allows you to use a crowbar to open up windows and doors that are locked. Pack Mule just gives you different bags that you can do. So a lot of my mods are just things like that. And you won't have any of these, but if you want to get different mods, you can just pick whatever. And like I said, I can go into a video that talks about that and how to do it if you want. Otherwise, You can watch other videos and or just do it. It's not difficult. This is occupations. This is where we get into the character building. You can have these occupations you start off with, or you can make a custom one and have no occupation. But anyway, so an angler is a fish. You get 3 fishing, 1 foraging. So you can find worms to fish with. Blacksmithing, you get blacksmithing, as well as maintenance, which allows you to helps your weapons, both melee and well, I think it's just strictly all melee. Keeps them from getting damaged as much, because every time you hit something with, say, a crowbar or a bat, you're doing damage to it. Every time you use a screwdriver to take apart electronics, you do damage. It's just not very much at all. Versus if you use a screwdriver to stab somebody, it does more damage to it, because that's not what it's meant for. Maintenance helps you reduce that damage. And then, of course, blacksmithing skill. We'll talk about skills in a minute, but that'll do that. Burger flipper gives you cooking, maintenance, short blade. Burglar I like because burglar allows you to hotwire vehicles right off the bat. Usually I always play a burglar when I first start off, just because I just find every vehicle I can, even if I don't have keys, whatever, and I hotwire them, so if I die, the next character come in, if he's not a burglar, can have a vehicle. You know, they're already hotwired. All they gotta do is find gas and a battery, make sure it's got a battery, and they can drive it. Carpenter allows carpentry, you know, which is building furniture, crates for storage, things like that, as well as putting up planks and things. You can take carpentry, excuse me, and with that +3 carpentry, I think that might be enough skill to make crates, which is one of the most important parts of carpentry. Later on, you want to have it to build like shelves. If you can't find any, you can build a base and make shelves and everything else with it. But the crates be the most important part in the beginning, so you can store stuff and not have stuff laying around. But you can gain carpentry fairly easy. Watch the carpentry show in the beginning, or you know, cut down trees, get logs, saw logs into planks, and then take the planks and build stuff. As long as you have nails, build things, and just keep building until it raises up. You know, so that's kind of you know, a little easier one. You might want to pick carpenter if, like, you're playing after power goes out, like your guy dies and you don't have nothing. You can do this. You know, same thing with like cooking. You don't really need it. You can just start cooking. You know, construction worker. Some of these are redundant, like construction worker is carpentry, but not very much. It has more masonry. Masonry is a little harder to do than carpentry, so I recommend it. DIY expert, different ones. Doctor, but first aid is pretty easy. I mean, maybe if you took like the skills that are the traits that I'm going to take, doctor would help, but only for a little while, and I'll explain that in a minute. Fire officer gives you a good axe, which you need, as well as running and strength. You know, park ranger. And police officer gives you for guns, but you don't start off with guns. In build 41, I believe they still have it to where you might start off with a gun, but they're probably going to be changing that to get rid of it. But in regular game, plus you don't want to use them because they could make a lot of noise. You know, same thing as security guard. Night owl is good because you stay up. You won't sleep as much. Veterans got desensitized. That's really good. That's like getting rid of panic, so you can just kill whatever. Welding is good, but you can build that like you can with carpentry. It's a little harder than carpentry, but you can still do it. So for us, take burglar. Now I've already played, so I have these will always be there, but I've saved these, but we're not going to be doing that. But anyway, that's what you can do. Once you pick this, you hit save. It'll give you a name. That way you can pick this class if that's what you always do. And then after that, your character itself will be different, but the class or the occupation will be the same. Now we got traits. See, like here we pick burglar. We have -6 points. That means we have to get 6 points, 6 negative points out of here to get positive. So we're in the negative. So for instance, if you took this high thirst, you would get 1 point. Add the trait. So now we're at -5, but we have high thirst, and that means we could pick if you had 0 points, you could pick one more of these. We don't want though. We are going to remove that one. And each of these, it tells you exactly what they do. This one drives very slow in the beginning. I recommend it because you don't know how to drive and you wreck all the time because it's hard to control, as you'll see in the game. It also means like if you get like in the grass, you're going to go really slow and zombies can hit you and attack your vehicle and cause you to go even slower, which means they can do more damage to it. So I don't pick that at all anymore, but I used to in the beginning. You know, different ones like this. Permanent tendency to lose weight. You don't really want to do that because you're always going to be losing weight, and if you lose so much, you die. This one allows you to gain weight, but the more you gain, the slower you're going to be, and the more you're going to get tired. But you can take those, make your game a little harder. Same thing like short-sighted. Just wear a pair of some glasses, and you'll be fine. You know, to get you the points. I pick slow reader. Makes reading books slower, which sucks. But later on, you'll see when you're playing solo, you can fast forward time. So you don't have to worry about that too much. You just fast forward time when you're sitting there. It just still means you're going to be doing nothing. Smoker's a good one because you can just find cigarettes and you can get rid of some panic by that, but I don't particularly care for it. I usually pick other things. Slow healer is another good one because if you're hurt, you want to be staying inside anyway. So this just keeps you in there. You know, and you want to get those TV shows anyway in the first 14 days. So stay there. Later on, when you're playing, you may not want to take that. Especially if you move into, say, Louisville, and then you die, and then you want to spawn, play again, the same character, you know, respawn a character and get your base. You might be surrounded by zombies, and you don't want to be stuck there. Weak stomach, higher chance to have food illness, but that's only works if you eat rotten or burnt food. So don't do that. And that's 3. Agoraphobic, can't panic when outdoors. Most of the time you're going to be wanting to stay inside. Don't go outside unless you just like feel like killing a whole bunch of zombies, and, you know, hordes of them. So that's an easy one. Just get back inside and you'll get panic. But I usually don't, you know, because sometimes I like to go out there, and since I like clearing towns, I kill zombies. But as long as you go outside, kill 10, 20 zombies if you can, get back inside, you're okay. Conspicuous, more likely to be seen by zombies, but as soon as they see you, they're coming after you anyway. Usually I don't pair any of those. Prone to illness, I do because stay inside when it rains, you won't get sick, and once you get you get bitten, you're dead anyway, so why not get it over with? So that's what I do. Anyway, you can pick through different ones. Then there's videos that are about which ones you don't want to take, which ones you might, and some of these like anti-gun activist and maybe like, I don't know, sun sensitivity. Those might be for my more traits. I couldn't tell you which one of these are vanilla and which one aren't. I don't remember. But anyway, so you deprive, being nothing with besides clothes. Kill a zombie and you get clothes. So that's an easy one for me. I don't like disorganized because I like being able to carry a lot and put stuff into crates and keep stuff organized. I don't recommend slow learner. You know. Anyway, but we'll do broke leg. Then I like burn ward amputation. That's a bad one. But it gives you 20 points. But every part of your body is hurt, and it takes a long time. But we're going to be in a house for 14 days, so you know, hopefully we won't have to worry about zombies too much. But anyway, see, we have 44 points to spend. So now we go through the positives. You know, generator knowledge is a good one. But if you get up your electrical high enough, you can work generators anyway. This might be an actual mod one. I don't know if it's vanilla or not. But at least allows you to see. Otherwise, you have to find a book to read to learn how to use generators, and then find a generator. This just allows you to operate right off the bat, but we don't need it because we got, months before power goes out. Anyway, but different ones like gardener. If you want to do plants right off the bat, take agriculture. Some of these are just for, like I said, get skills. Some like outdoorsy, helps you with bad weather. I don't go out in the rain too much, but at least that helps if you are out and you get stuck out there, as well as be able to sleep on the ground. That helps. Anyway, you just pick whichever ones you feel like. I like to go in here and pick strong, because I've already got strength up there. So that gives it even more. And then athletic, but that gets me down to 22 points. So that was 20 of it gone. And then I pick things stuff I don't like. Like in this case, Wildsman, I probably might pick it because I don't care for fishing. I don't really care for foraging. Don't like to nap, which is stonework. But I will. And then tracking and trapping, I don't care for those. So this at least starts it off the bat, so I don't have to fail as much. If that's what you want to do. Then I like pack mule. So I can only carry a lot at one time, so I don't have to keep going back. And then, let's see. Where is... Thick-blooded, just because a lot of times you'll get scratched and you'll start bleeding out. I've died just from bleeding out before I could get a bandage put on. Organized, so I like to fill up my crates as much as possible. That leaves us 7 points. So either you can go down here to 7s and pick one, but I don't really care for any of these really. Or we can pick a mix of different things. We don't need brave because we'll get it by building up toughness. So it'll be redundant later on. It'll help now, but not as much later. Scrapper is good. That's an added one, I believe, from a mod, because it gives me blacksmithing, maintenance is the most important one, and then welding, so I can make stuff right off the bat a little easier. Now we have 4 points. So you can choose wakeful, so leading us less sleep, but I don't care to, because sleeping is not that big a deal. Transport inventory quicker, yeah, we'll do that one. That gives me to one. I'll do cat's eyes, just because it also helps when you're inside of a building if there's no lights when power goes out, and it gives 2 extra points, which I don't need any other. I might have taken like inventive. If you play with food on rare, you might want to take a light eater. You can also go, like I said, high thirst, which means you just drink a lot of water all the time. I don't care to, but it would be an extra point. It's not that big a deal. Do low thirst, same thing, except you can find water. So anyway, yeah. And then that gives us those, which are important. Sometimes I'll take other things like whittler, because I don't really care for carving, but it's an easy one. You can just get a stick and have a knife and you carve handles out of the sticks. Crafty, so that way you can get more XP when you're actually crafting things. If you're playing multiplayer with friends, you pick and choose your skills better. So like you can take crafty, so that you pick, say, masonry, and nobody else does, and then you can just do masonry and you'll get that skill up quicker if you need it to be quicker, or a hobby is one of those. Anyway, that's the end of that. So we hit next. This gives your character, pick wherever you want. You can change your voice. Hey! See? Different colors for different things. Different gear. Ideally, what you want to do if you're playing with all your skills, for my playthrough is going to be totally different because I picked Deprive, which means none of this is going to be there. One thing he's going to have is underwear. But you pick any of these shirts, it doesn't matter. But always have a long sleeve t-shirt and then tank top. And then pick jeans and sneakers. Rest of this doesn't, and then you want to make sure you have a belt. If you took nearsighted, take glasses, reading glasses, and then you'll be able to see. Otherwise, it'll be blurry for you. But these two things, mostly these two, and then jeans. As far as gear you can spawn in with, jeans are the best things because they're denim, which is better resistance than, say, regular pants, which are cloth. And then you can cut them down to where you get denim strips, and that allows you to put armor up on your gear, which there's some gear you can't armor up, but this puts armor on. That makes it harder for zombies to bite through. Sneakers give you a speed bonus for running. That's why you pick that. There's also like boots, and you may, if you decide you prefer not to run as fast and you want to do more damage to stomping a zombie's head, that's what you would pick. You'd pick boots, like work boots or military boots, whatever. Socks. Long socks give you a little more insulation. Then there's also heavy socks, which are even better insulation. In this one, you can't do anything with the socks other than just wear them. But I believe still in 41 and the ones before that, you could rip the socks up, and that gives you rags to put a bandage. Also, the more things you pick here that can be ripped up, not including jeans, because you have to have scissors to cut them. You can't just rip them up. Gives you rags. So if you get hit, you get hurt, you get scratched, get rid of the formal shirt. Then you still got a tank top and a long sleeve t-shirt, and you can make rags and bandage yourself. Long sleeve t-shirt is better armor than any other shirt, because it's long sleeve. So it gives you more protections especially once you armor them all up. Belt gives you the ability to put a hammer or any other certain items in the belt, so you can quick grab them versus having to go to your inventory. None of the other things really matter too much. If you decide to say a police officer, for instance, or a soldier, you'll get gear like that. For soldiers or the veteran, you get camo shorts. That's what you start off in, as well as a shirt that might say like Army or something on it. Police officer, you'll pick, usually gives you a police outfit or something close to it. Fire officer, you'll get like firefighter pants and then a t-shirt. Anyway, you can change however you want. I don't care because I'll shave the beard off and cut my hair down. None of that matters. And hit play, and we are waiting to spawn in. So we will wait for that to happen. All this tells you something. This game is about dying. That's what you do. You eventually will die. And no matter how good you get, this is how you die. That'll happen. I'll watch that guy Preds, who played 1,000 days in Zomboid, raised up almost all of his skills, maxed them out, 1,000 days. And then you watch him play again in other versions when he's replaying and doing different stuff. He might die as soon as he spawns in. So no matter how good you are, things happen, like in real life. So we wait for this, and then we'll talk more. Hopefully. It just had a new update, I believe. So might take it a little bit. But this will be the end of this episode. I told you what you need to get in the game. You may want to spend more time checking out, if you're playing solo, different things on how to start the server. Click start, you spawn in. I highly recommend not exiting the game when there's zombies all around you. See, here you are, you spawn in, you're hurt, under agony. First thing you do, crouch. That's the very first thing you do. Then, depending on where you spawn in, you may not spawn in this exact house, but turn around, WASD, and you see everything. And then hold the right click mouse. It stands you up so you can be seen, but however, you can move like this versus doing it this way. And this is also how you attack. Spacebar, yes. That pushes them until you get a weapon to swing. That'll push them. Anyway, this is how we're going to end it right now. We'll pause that, and we will start again next video with everything else, how to actually play the game. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you soon.